About 2 months back, I admitted my father in a very serious condition in the hospital. And after they tried their level best, they leave up the matter. And my father survived after the treatment for 36 hours. We were standing around him at his last breath. We saw him. I saw his death, the last breath. At that moment, I raised one question with my doctors. What is the driving force within our body?
Now, what you call as my body is just a piece of earth that you picked up and now prancing around like this. Yes? It's just a piece of earth, isn't it? It's on loan to you. When the time to return the loan comes, why are you making such a fuss? After all, you're an auditor. You know money borrowed has to be returned, otherwise somebody will keep accounts. Planet Earth keeps proper account. You can't take an atom of it. You can borrow it, you can use it, you can enjoy it, you have to give it back to it. This is the way of life. Now, because you get so attached to a piece of earth, which you call as my father or myself or your wife or her child or whatever, you don't want to give it up. I want you to understand, your love is not for life. Your love is what you consider as myself and all that you consider as that which belongs to me. Every day, people are dying in the world, isn't it? Every day? Millions? I don't know how many die. Does somebody have figures? Huh? Every minute 200 people are dying. Why didn't you ever think, why are they dying? Why didn't you ever think, where is the source of life? Now your father is dying. If you did not know who is your father, even if that man died, you wouldn't matter, it wouldn't matter to you. But now, it's my father, that is the whole thing. Your concern is not that another human being is dying. Your concern is not about another life. Your concern is just me, isn't it? So when your concern is like this, distorted concern, now you have a distorted vision of life. When you have distorted visions of life, then suffering is inevitable. Now, your father is gone. Yes, we would like to do everything to have our loved ones around us as long as possible. But they will go invariably, isn't it? I should tell you a story. Once, what's your name, Ravi? Ravi? Somebody like Ravi built a new house because it's there in this tradition that if they have a sage or a saint they bring them to their house so that their house is blessed. And they called a yogi to their house. The yogi came, they welcomed him like a king, treated him like a king, fed him well. Then they came and said, "You must bless us and our house." The yogi said, let your father die first, then you, and then your children. The man got really angry. "You idiot, we bring you home, we treat you like a king, we feed you, we give you gifts. And when I ask you to bless me, you're telling me my father should die first, then I should die, then my children should die?" And he is also afraid, because the yogi has said so, it may happen so. The yogi said, "What is wrong with what I said? Is it not good if your father dies first, then you, then your children? If you die before your father, is it good? Or if your children die before you, is it good? If your father should die first, then you should die, then your children should die. This is the natural order of life. Is that not how life should happen to you? Yes? So, your father should die, then you should die, then your children should die. This is the way of life. Because you are completely out of tune with life. You think your father should not die. Okay, instead of your father, if you die, things will be better? Or if your children die, will it be better? No, isn't it? This is the way it should happen. Yes, we do our best to keep our loved ones as far as possible, but when they have to go, you send them gracefully. And when you have to go, you also go gracefully. This doesn't belong to you. You just borrowed it, no interest. But every atom of it, you have to pay it back. That's the way it is. It's good if our fathers die before us, isn't it? It's not good if our children die before us. But our fathers should die before us. It's good. We don't wish it today. We want them a long life, but they must die one day, isn't it? This is what he meant when he said, your father should die first, then you, then your children. Because all the three forces should function in balance, then only there is life. If your father never dies, then your children should not be born. Isn't it so? If your children should be born and they should grow up and live, then your father should die and then you should also die, isn't it? If all our forefathers become alive now, can we live here? We'll anyway wish them dead. Isn't it so? Let's be honest. Yes? If all our forefathers, 25 generations of people, if they become alive now, do you want them? No, you'll wish them dead. So it's good what's happening. It's just that we have to manage it so that it doesn't become an aberration in our lives. It happens at the right time, isn't it?
Can I contact my dead father?
I'm sorry?
Can I know where my dead father is right?
Can you?
Contact my father who was died 5 years ago.
Now, I know this is coming from a certain emotion. I don't want to ridicule that, but I want you to understand. Your business with your father is only when he's embodied. What you have known as your father is just a certain body and a certain mind. You have not known anything else of your father, isn't it? Yes or no? Whatever you have known as your father is just a certain form of physical body and maybe certain aspects of his mind and emotion. Do you know anything else of your father? Because you do not know anything else of yourself. There's no question of knowing anything else of your father, isn't it? You may say, no, my father was a good soul. You don't know all these things, whether he is good soul or bad soul, whether he had one or not, you do not know. Maybe your father was a good-hearted man, maybe a gentle man, maybe a loving person, yes? Maybe very cruel to somebody else but nice to you, yes or no? Yes? Maybe very wicked out in the world but good to you. This is how you know your father. Which way we do not know. Maybe very wonderful the world and not so good to you, or the other way around, whatever. You know his little bit of thoughts, his emotions and his body to some extent. So once, when your father left, definitely he left his body here and went, isn't it? Once he left his body, you have no business with him. It doesn't matter how much emotion you have. Your business with him is over. I want you to understand this. Your business with them is only when they're alive. But when they're alive, you're not on talking terms with your father. When he dies, you want to contact him, don't do this to yourself. When they're around you, give yourself totally. Do everything that you could do. After they're gone, what are you going to do? Anyway they will go, today or tomorrow. Your father went 5 years ago, my father may go 5 years later, but they will go, isn't it? So when they are there, show all the involvement that you can. When they are there, You can't talk to them, you're angry with them, you can't look at them, you have no time for them. After they're gone, you want to go to heaven and talk to them. There's no email facility there. So, do not bother about the dead. Leave the dead to the dead. Your business is with the living. When your business is just with the living, make it a total business, you know. Show involvement with life around you. When you're here, you're uninvolved. If I ask you to right now say hello to the man next to you, you hesitate. But you want to contact the dead, why? Show more involvement with life around you. Then it's okay. The unborn and the dead are not your business now.